الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف خلق الله محمد وآله الطاهرين. As we explained last night, something that we really need to work towards is perfecting ourselves and becoming better people. Obviously, we need to put a lot of effort in that. Nothing comes easy in life. Absolutely nothing comes easy in life. Even if you're born in a rich family, still you're able to plunder that very easily. And so, as much as you might think someone is privileged, they'll still somehow be affected if they are not putting effort in what it is that they are doing. So as human beings, we need to try as much as we can to put as much effort in our lives and, of course, most importantly, improving the quality of our life. Imam Ali alayhi salam, I've mentioned this hadith before. He says that your form could look like a human being, but your inner side could be that of an animal. We shouldn't be shocked or surprised when we come across another human being who doesn't have any qualities of a human being. Why is it that we talk about humanitarian issues when we refer to things that are good? Because al-insaniyah, the humanitarian side of ourselves, is purer than what we usually see in today's society. And so all that we need to do is go back to our human self, and we will be able to discover a lot of things. You're able to pick up on animal characteristics if you are not careful and cautious. How are you able to pick up on animal characteristics? Simply by letting yourself free, leaving yourself without any kind of regulation or control. If you become so obsessed with just food, people refer to you as a pig. Because that's what pigs are. Pigs have no concern what they eat and how much they eat. And they have no eating etiquette as well. And they have no worry about what they eat. They can even eat their own baby should they be hungry. What happens if you are a sly, a cunning, a deceiving, a dishonest person? They'll refer to you as a fox. Why? Because a fox is very quiet, very sly, very deceiving, and also will stab you in the back without you even knowing. If you have an animal that's hungry, they will only, and they're a good animal, like a lion, mathalan, they will only eat what they can consume. They will only kill what they can eat. Right? If they see a big herd of deers, mathalan, or buffaloes, or whatever it may be, they're not going to kill 5, 6, 7 of them. They'll only kill one and eat it. That will be their prey, and that's what they will eat. Whereas you look at a fox, runs into a farm, kills all the chicken and the sheep, and probably doesn't eat any of them. And so, therefore, even in the animal kingdom, there are different qualities for different haywanat. Some are good, some are bad. We as human beings, we need to make sure that we keep our human side alive and we don't become so engaged in our animal side, because that we are under the species of al-hayawan, because we are rational animals. We are haywanun natiq. We are rational animals, so we fall under the category of animals, but we try to distance ourselves from animal qualities. One animal quality is not having restrictions or boundaries or limitations. Rava, come sit over here. Hamza, come sit over here. Where's Ali Garnawi? Where is he? Rava, move over there, I said. It's not funny. We have to distance ourselves away from animal characteristics, like, for example, obsession with food and our stomachs, obsession with our stomachs, obsession with our private parts, obsession with only wanting to pursue lust. And there is no boundary to that. You could have a long, big sufra of 30, 40, 50 different varieties of food. Your mind would say, I'm able to eat all of them, but physically you're not able to do that. With your lust and your desire, it's also the same thing. You could feel that you are able to be with 60, 70, 80, 90 different partners. Maybe physically you might not be able to do that, but mentally you would love to do that. And that's why if a person does not learn to become content with what it is that they have and only look at their side of the fence and not be Ali, please, these boys in the front, stand there, give them that khazra. Yeah, that's good, thank you. Not only is a person very dangerous for them to keep on looking over the fence and thinking that the grass is always greener, they'll never be content with what they have. They'll never be pleased and never be satisfied. You could have a Maserati and then you would want a McLaren and then you would want a Shuno? Bugatti, and then you want a Rolls Royce, and then you want a Camry, Toyota Camry. Huh? You have to be content with what you have. You've got collection of Pokemon cards, and you're always thinking about, oh yeah, there's that Asian guy that lives across the road. He's got a Pikachu card that I really want to have, I really want to get. Be content with what you have. Be happy with what you have. Why do you have to build a paranoia and obsession with what is in the hands of other people? لا تمدن عينيك. لا تمدن عينيك. Yani stop looking around all the time, looking at what other people have, what is in the hands of other people. Because if you start doing that, you're going to want to cut corners. You're going to want to make your long efforts shorter and shorter. Instead of going and pursuing your degree and getting a degree, you're going to make your 3-year degree or 4-year degree turn into 6, 7, 8 years and pass with the bare minimum. للأسف الشديد, I can confidently say 90% of people I interact with, they who are in uni, 90%, if not 95% of people I know in uni, they are in uni only for the sake of getting a degree so they can find a job. No ambition more than that, none whatsoever. Yeah, but what are you doing throughout the term? Do you read? Do you study? Oh no. When do you submit your assignments and your essays and your this and your that? If it's 12 a.m. The due deadline, you submit it at 11:50 p.m. And what do you say? I like to work under pressure. And that's very sad. That's very depressing, actually. That's very depressing. Why? Because stress is never, ever good. Stress is never good. Working under pressure is never good because you will always slip and you'll always make a mistake. Maybe not this time, but another time and another time. It is against proper human cognitive ability for a person to put too much pressure on their brain. And that's why you have to span it out. People, unfortunately, majority of people at school and at university only study when there is an exam. And only study for the sake of passing. Not with the ambition of, I want to be the first in the class. I want to be the best. I want to be more creative. I want to get somewhere in life. It's not just about the money. It's about something else. And that's why I said some people, unfortunately, they cut corners. They want quick cash because this dunya is very tempting. They've only got $700 left so they can buy their Eshe Louis Vuitton bum bag that only cost the company $6 to make. And you, the Msodan, think that this is going to give you prestige. This is going to bring you all the way up there in life. And everyone, on Instagram I saw that only poor people wear these brands. Have you seen that clip before? Only poor people wear these brands. Sayyid Elon Musk, so what does he wear? Does he wear this kind of stuff? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't wear these kind of things. And that's why consumerism is really, really bad. When you get things mixed around in the wrong way, and you prioritize things that you shouldn't be prioritizing, everything starts to fall apart. That's why آقای نوروزی شما از صندلی استفاده کنید. صندلی بگیرید، صندلی بشینید دیگه. چرا در عذاب میشینید؟ طلع على کرسی. Who am I talking to? That's why it's really, really important. Everyone listening, please. It's really, really important for you to surround yourself with hikmah. The Quran says, وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةِ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. If you are blessed with wisdom, you have been blessed with absolute abundance. Abundance of goods, yani the greatest good you have. So this is fadila, virtue number 2. Wisdom. If it wasn't for wisdom, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, it's not worth nothing at all. Because one wrong decision, unwise decision, you will lose everything. Which is exactly why al-hikmah, as they say, the definition, the ta'rif for hikmah is وضع الشيء في محله الصحيح. For you to place each and everything in its right place. يعني شنو؟ يعني for you to do everything in the correct way, in the right way, in the correct way, in the right way. And hikmah comes from the word hakama, and hukm also comes from the word hikmah as well. Hukm, which means law, ruling. And hakama means a rein, the horse's rein, that lijam that they put on the horse. Why? Because the person riding the horse is steering the horse the way he wants the horse to go. And hikmah is going to do that to you. Hikmah is going to give you the right direction in your life. Of course, hikmah has been mentioned in the Holy Quran on numerous occasions. One of the primary objectives of the Quran and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi and all of the other Anbiya is to teach people hikmah. What's the name of the Prophet who had that title? Huh? Yes, Hamza. What's his name? What's his name? Luqman al-Hakim. Luqman al-Hakim. Where you know the whole story of Luqman giving his advice to his son. And his son wasn't no umtaffi kid. No, he was well alert and well aware. But Luqman took a lot of effort, put a lot of effort in giving advice to his son, which is really important. And that's why even today, someone who tells you the right thing to do and gives you the instructions, the right things to do, like for example, they refer to him as, like Lebanese people, they refer to a doctor as a hakim, right? Because the doctor is, of course, giving you instructions to do the right thing for your body. So they refer to the doctor as a hakim. And hikmah is really a big blessing. As the hadith says, al-hikmah dalatul mu'min. Hikmah is the lost possession of a believer. So you have to make sure that you search for this lost possession of yours and put effort in finding hikmah. But hikmah, again, doesn't come from reading a book. Hikmah comes from something way deeper than that. Way deeper than that. And that's why there are some people who are mature. They're adults in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 70s, but they have zero hikmah. Their aql is like a za'tut aql. What does za'tut mean, Rida? You don't know? What does za'tut mean, Hussein? Kid. Like that of a little kid. Zero hikmah, no ability, no way in knowing how to atsarraf. That's why we say you need to have hikmah fil tasarruf. You need to know how to deal with circumstances. And a lot of that comes from not knowledge, but from experience and from respecting and listening to your elders as well. Someone who is older than you, they say in Arabic, أكبر منك يوم أعقل منك سنة. Older than you by one day, more sensible than you by a year. Maybe you in your age that you are in, you're probably thinking, yeah, I know all and I know how it is and this is how it is and I'm the best in this. And then after 1 year, after 2 years, you come to realize that no, that's not the case. talking about university and about school. You know, there are some people I know, they've changed their degree and what they're studying, and they're only in their first year. They've changed it 5, 6, 7 times. They won't get nowhere in life. Nowhere. Right? You keep on flipping and changing because what someone said to you, oh, by the way, you know, that's not good, do this. Oh yeah, you're right, I'll do that. Being indecisive, it's a very, very bad thing, a very, very bad characteristic to have, indecisive. And I'm one of those people who don't encourage you to get a university degree if you don't want a university degree. Who said that you have to have a university degree for you to be successful in life? Who said that? Be an achiever. Yes, you have to be an achiever. You have to be an achiever. You have to have ambition. You have to have ambition. But you don't have to go to university if that's not your cup of shino. Cup of kanafa. Slice of kanafa, sorry. Cup of chai. People say to me, oh Sheikh, you know, did you force your son to go and study in Hausa? I said to a few people, Billah alaik, do you say this to that parent who forces his son or daughter to go and study to become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer? Why is it when it comes to religious studies, all of a sudden the assumption is, oh, this guy, poor kid, he's being forced by his parent to go and study Islamic studies. But if they were to study something else, no, that's good. Parents should force the kid to study a university and study to become a Muhandis Saab or Dr. Saab or something like that. It's very wrong direction. And that's why I see a lot of young boys and girls who hide their real occupation from their parents. I know people who their father brags about his son everywhere he goes. Ana ibni, my son is doing this, his son is doing that. Ibn Akbar Chadhab, he's lying, his son's studying something else in TAFE. How's he supposed to know? Really? Or they resent the parent. Or yes, they get their degree, but it turns out that they became associated with someone who's Bala Deen, and they became Bala Deen. Khasira dunya wal akhirah. And therefore we need to make sure that we have the right direction in our lives. That we are not spending all of our energy on work, and delaying our studies so we can just become a normal employee like anyone else. Yes, it's difficult financially for a lot of people, but the less you work and the more you focus on your daris and your studies, especially at a young age, the more successful you will be. And that's why don't evaluate your life based on Western standards. You know what they say these days? They say you're overqualified. There's no such thing as being overqualified. There's no such thing as being overqualified. And this is why the reason why our Anbiya alayhim salam, or one of the reasons why our Anbiya came among the people was to teach people hikmah. يُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. Look at these verses in the Holy Quran that speak about hikmah. ذَلِكَ مِمَّا أَوْحَى إِلَيْكَ رَبُّكَ مِنَ الْحِكْمَةِ لَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ وَشَدَدْنَا مُلْكَهُ وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْحِكْمَةِ. All Anbiya were hakim, had hikmah and had wisdom, and they were propagating and spreading wisdom as well. What does hikmah mean? Hikmah means to be daqiq, to be precise, to not be inconsistent or not knowing what you're talking about. Hikmah means that you are doing the right thing in the right time, in the right place. You're saying something in the right place and the right time. You know when to do this and when to do that. When to joke, when to be serious. When to talk, when to keep your mouth closed. When to answer back, when to stay quiet. That's what hikmah is all about. And lil-asaf, a lot of people don't have hikmah. A lot of people joke around when they shouldn't be joking around. Joke to people who they shouldn't be joking to people. Being serious when they shouldn't be serious. Talking when they shouldn't be talking. Saying something out of place where they shouldn't be saying something. Where's your hikmah? Why aren't you selective in your conduct, in your behavior, and what it is that you are saying? Number 3, correct statements. Hikmah means that you choose your words wisely, as they say. Wisely. Be wise in what you say. That's why we say for Nahj al-Balagha, there are 3 parts of Nahj al-Balagha. What are they? Anyone knows? What the hell, man? What's wrong with these Shia? You guys with Dhul Fiqars around your necks and you don't know nothing? Who wrote Nahj al-Balagha? Who compiled Nahj al-Balagha? شوف هذا سأضربك بهذا. Zaid al-Radi, one of our ulama, compiled Nahj al-Balagha, and it's divided into 3 parts. The first is sermons, the khutbahs. The second is the letters, the rasail. And the third are the hikam. Hikam means the statements, the wise sayings of Imam Ali alayhi salam. That's why they refer to them as hikam, wise sayings. Wise sayings. Why do people respect Confucius so much? من هو هذا Confucius? Huh? Who's Confucius? Ahmed, who's Confucius? Enter, you just know Maradona and Pelé and Beckham. That's all you know. Who's Confucius Sadiq? Who's Confucius Hassan? Who's Confucius Hamza? A wise man. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, Maui, who's Confucius? Gulli. You tell me. I'm asking you, who is it? Jaburi, who is it? Thank you. Why do they love Confucius so much? Alhamdulillah, we've got Akbar min Confucius by 1,000,000 times, Imam Ali and his wise sayings. Do you know there are books that have been compiled, the statements, the wise sayings of Imam Ali, that are only 2 words. 2-word statements of Imam Ali. Some 3-word statements. But when you look at it and you want to translate it into English, and I've done this many, many times, you need a whole sentence to translate it. And Imam Ali said it in 2 words, 3 words. That's what hikmah is about. That's what hikmah is all about. خير الكلام ما قل ودل. That's why sometimes samt and being quiet and silent is a sign of wisdom. Is a sign of wisdom. Too much tharthara. Who knows what tharthara means? Chit chat, too much talking. Who said that? Too much excessive talking will remove your hikmah. It will kind of like fade away your hikmah that you need to have. And number 4 is knowledge and experience. Always make sure that you gain knowledge and gain experience from other people. Someone saying to you, yeah, but don't go this way, there's a big pit, there's a big hole, you'll fall into it. And you say, no, I want to do it myself. I want to experience life myself. I want to go experience life, go down in the hole, inshallah, roha bala raj'a. You don't have to do that. If someone is giving you advice on a golden platter, free of charge, who charges for advice? Someone's giving you a nasiha, qurbatan ila Allah ta'ala, for your maslaha, free of charge. Take it. Unfortunately, we need someone to write a prescription and give you medicine and make you lie down on one of those couches for you to value their advice after you've paid them $350, $400. That's unfortunately the mentality that a lot of us have. And that's why whenever you're in a situation or you're in a circumstance, you always need to do istishara. شاوروا الناس من شاور الناس شاركهم في عقولهم. Always seek advice and consultation. Use hikmah as a weapon as well. When you're discussing something with someone, you need to use hikmah. ادعو إلى سبيل ربك. How do you translate that? What's that mean, Mr. Ali? Are you on holiday? ادعو, you on holiday? Come back, yeah. No. Call for your God, call towards the path of your God with wisdom. Yani invite people with hikmah. You all know the story of that guy who wanted to convert it to Islam because of his neighbor, right? And then the neighbor said, by the way, it's Maghrib time, let's go and pray. Went and prayed, come back to the masjid, went back home. Another 1 hour, it's Isha time, let's go to the masjid and pray. This convert khatiyah, his first day he's converted. Goes back to the masjid and prays. Then 3 o'clock in the morning, waking him up, let's go to the masjid for Salatul Layl and Fajr, going there, coming back. By the way, we're fasting today. You're supposed to be fasting today. You shouldn't be eating. Then he's fasting the day. Maghrib time comes, about to break his fast. Oh no, we have to go to the masjid and we have to pray in the masjid. And then at the end of just 1 day or 2 days, he said, take back your deen. I don't want your religion. I don't want nothing to do with you or your religion. I'm going to change my postcode as well. When you want to invite people to religion, you also have to make sure that you do so with wisdom, with hikmah. How do you get hikmah? In this beautiful story, right, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this book, uhkimat ayatuh, uhkimat ayatuh. It's clearly firm and well controlled and well managed. What does this book of hikmah, this Quran, tell us? أَن لَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ. So you want hikmah? Worship nothing and nobody other than God. And by the way, you don't need to be having an idol in front of you for you to be worshipping someone else or something else. Sometimes you worship your hawa, as the Quran says. You worship your desire, your lust, as the Quran says. Sometimes you attribute a partner to God by doing something for the sake of showing off, for the sake of someone else saying bah bah and praising you. Right? And that's why with hikmah, sometimes someone is able to say that they have hikmah but don't have hikmah. It's very similar to a cancer specialist, a lung specialist who ergils every night and smokes Cuban Havana cigars. Is that possible? Yeah. In theoretical knowledge, very good. But in practicing, very, very bad. Or a neuroscientologist. What do they say? Neuroscientologist. Right? Neuropathologist? Neurologist? Huh? But he does this to a cow and he says, this is my God, and I drink its wee for tabarruk. انت وين والبقرة وين? You're supposed to know like the intricate huh? Intrinsic details. Why are you laughing, mister? Intrinsic details of this aql, and you're not even using your aql to say, why should I be worshipping a cow, مثلا? Right? Or someone telling you, pray, but they don't pray. Or someone tell you, don't do ghiba, but they do ghiba. This is why it says, خُذُوا الْحِكْمَةِ, paying attention, خُذُوا الْحِكْمَةِ وَلَوْ مِنْ أَفْوَاهِ الْمَجَانِينَ. Take wisdom, even if it comes from a majnoon, an insane, a mkhabbal person. خُذُوا الْحِكْمَةِ وَلَوْ مِنَ الْمُنَافِقِ. One hadith says, even if the person is a munafiq, but they're saying something wise, take it. Take it. So we've got al-hikmah al-nazariyya and al-hikmah al-amaliyya. What we need to work on is both, but more important is al-hikmah al-amaliyya in us, for us to have hikmah in our tasarruf and our behavior. How do you do this? Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi says, Ra'sul hikmah makhafatullah. The peak of wisdom is fearing God. Follow the haqq. Number 2, Imam Ali says, Ra'sul hikmah luzumul haqq. Following the haqq wa ta'atul muhiq, and obeying the rightful person. Number 3, overcome your desire. I spoke about desire a lot today because that is the obstacle for hikmah. That will be the hindrance for hikmah. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, اغلب الشهوة تكمل لك الحكمة. Overcome your lust and you will perfect wisdom. Number 4, anger. Control your anger. Imam Sadiq says, Al-ghadab mamhaqatun liqalbi al-hakim. Anger is going to erase those things that are in the heart of a wise person. If you don't control your anger, you don't have an intellect. Number 5, keep yourself pure. Keep yourself away from sin. Unfortunately, in today's society, up to 70% of the internet is haram stuff. Pornography and rubbish like that, and naked things, and all these issues, unfortunately, that is so much available on the internet. And you know how many people have addiction to that stuff? And you know how many people are unaware of the dangers and how damaging it is? Keep yourself pure. You know that it's bad. You know that it's wrong. Stay away from it. Keep yourself in the highest level of integrity. Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam, he says, Al-Hikmah la tanja. Yani you won't be able to have it fi al-taba'i' al-fasida. You won't be able to adopt wisdom if you have a corrupt nature. And then number 6, educate yourself with, of course, gaining experience and things like that. Remembering God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Nabiullah Yahya وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْحُكْمَ صَبِيًّا. At a young age, you can be wise and young because you know how you're dealing with this. Number 2, stick to ulama, righteous ulama, good ulama. Adhere yourself to them and their conduct and their advice. Seek advice from them. You just had a fallout with your wife, your friend, and then your other mate sees you, شو مو على طبعك, you look different today, أخ مو شديد, you're a bit upset, قالب وجهك, what's wrong, خير? Wallah, I just had a fight I had an argument with my wife, with my brother, with my this, with my that. Yeah, فدراجتي تقعدها بمكانها. Give her a nice backhander, Andrew Tate style, and your problems will be solved. Getting advice from the wrong person will really, really damage you. Really damage you. Oh yeah, I've got this problem with my parent. Oh yeah, you don't need to deal with toxic people around you. Toxic. Everyone's using the word toxic these days. Let's normalize cutting off toxic people from our lives. You see this on social media a lot. Let's normalize cutting off toxic people from our lives. They mean family, of course, because your family is not comfortable with the lifestyle choices that you make, and they're trying to give you nasiha, but you want to cut them off because they're too toxic for you. Wrong advice is very, very damaging. You need to be careful you don't give someone the wrong advice. If you're not qualified to give advice, don't give advice. If you know that the advice that is given to you sounds a bit iffy and wrong, don't accept it, don't take it. That's why you always have to circle yourself with the right people who give the right advice. Number 3, read stories of ulama. Be inspired. Use them as role models and examples. Ulama here, not only ulama, your parents, your grandparents. Listen to your parents and the advice that they give you and the experience that they've gone through. And they say, you know what, we always say this, we say, when my parent says, when I was your age, I shut down immediately. Again, this is the very Western kind of, modern kind of mentality that a lot of us people have, للأسف الشديد. بالعكس, when they say, when I was your age, you have to turn on. You have to switch yourself on to listen and pay attention, because that's going to be a good example for you to have and live by. When your father, when your mother, when your grandparent says, this is how you should be doing things. This is how, I'm a millennial. Millennial? Is that what they say? Jahannam, you're a millennial. What is it? Minion? Minion? Aluminium? Come on. What's wrong with Rada? What's wrong with him? Hamza. Number 4 is al-tajarub, experience, which is really, really important. Let's read some hadiths before we finish off with tonight. From Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, I read this, Al-Hikmah da'allatul mu'min. Hikmah is the lost position of a believer. Imam Ali, he says, Man akhlasa lillahi arba'ina sabaha. Whoever is sincere for 40 mornings. Ya'kul al-halal. Eating halal. You know what's the most common question I have? It's the most important question on this earth. The most crucial, most important question that so many people ask every single day. Sheikh, is gelatin halal? Yani out of 1,000,001 questions that you can ask, this is the most common question that is asked. Second most common is, Sheikh, can I get married to a jinn? Ya'kul al-halal, especially to my young brothers here, young brothers listening, young sisters listening, make sure that you always stay away from eating anything haram. Sometimes when you're at school, your parents are not around, you need to make sure that you only eat halal. Is there any such thing as halal bacon? يأكل الحلال صائما نهاره قائما ليله. Ajr Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will flow springs of wisdom from your heart to your tongue. Al-Hikmah shajara. Wisdom is a tree that plants itself in your heart and gives its fruits from your tongue. Yani hikmah is in your heart, and the fruits of hikmah are the things that you say. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, Man zahida fi dunya. If you avoid these dunyawi materialist things, athbat Allah al-hikmah fi qalbih. Allah will root, will establish, will grow wisdom in your heart, وَأَنْطَقَ بِهَا لِسَانَهُ, and you will be speaking wisdom as well. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا أَنَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ وَالصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَى سَيِّدِنَا مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ الطَّاهِرِينَ.